Ever notice how your pool feels like a giant ice cube the moment the sun goes down? It is a classic problem for anyone with an above-ground setup. You spend all day waiting for the water to hit that perfect temperature, only for the night air to steal all that progress. That is where this solar cover comes into play. It is essentially a massive, blue thermal blanket designed specifically for those 18-foot round pools. And honestly, it does a surprisingly good job at keeping the heat where it belongs. When you first pull this thing out of the box, it feels pretty lightweight, which is a relief because nobody wants to wrestle with a heavy tarp every single evening. The material has that distinct plastic feel you would expect, but it is durable enough to handle the occasional splash or gust of wind without tearing. The real magic, though, is how it sits on the surface. By creating that barrier between the water and the air, it stops evaporation in its tracks. You might not think about it, but losing water to dry winds is a silent killer for your pool levels and your chemical balance. Keeping that water in the pool means you are not constantly topping it off or rebalancing your chlorine levels, which is a win in anyone's book. What stands out is how much it helps with the sun. It acts like a greenhouse for your pool, trapping the solar energy during the day so the water stays noticeably warmer for those evening swims. It also does a solid job of keeping the junk out. If you have trees nearby, you know the struggle of fishing leaves and twigs out of the water every morning. This cover acts as a shield, so instead of spending 20 minutes with a skimmer net, you are just pulling the cover off and jumping right in. It even comes with a storage bag, which is a nice touch because finding a place to stash a giant circle of plastic when it is not in use is usually a nightmare. Now look, it is not a magic carpet. You are going to have to get used to the process of putting it on and taking it off. If you are doing it solo, it can be a bit of a dance, especially if the wind picks up. It is not exactly a high-tech piece of gear, and you might find yourself wishing for a real system if you have to move it by yourself every single day. Also, while it is great at keeping debris out, you still need to be careful when pulling it off so you do not dump all those collected leaves right back into the water. It is a bit of a technique thing, but you get the hang of it after a few tries. At the end of the day, if you are tired of shivering when you jump in or you are sick of cleaning out the pool every morning, this is a pretty straightforward solution. It is simple, it does exactly what it claims to do, and it saves you a lot of maintenance time. It is not going to turn your pool into a hot tub, but for extending the season and keeping the water comfortable, it is a solid addition to the backyard.
Check out the video description for updated price. And thank you for watching this video.